All right, so I wanted to talk about this topic where Pokchop was, I don't know, he was just like, I don't know, trash talking someone. And basically, it's got everyone just laughing in the background. You can see, look.
And he's screaming at him in his face. Bomber trying to say opportunity.
And, you know, according to maybe people that don't understand, like the offline era, it can maybe, if you've never been offline before, it can look like it is aggressive when it's not. You can see everyone in the background. They know it's Pokchop. He's just, you know, he just trash talks. Everyone's laughing in the background, bro. Everyone's laughing. Like this is what he does offline. He has this like offline aura where, you know, he's trash talking, but he's friendly. He never ever be disrespectful. He never ever swears at you. He's just trash talking. He gets amped up when he's, you know, when he's starting his trash talk.
And he's screaming at him in his face.
People are just laughing. But yeah, like, anyways, moving on from that, there is a comment from Overflow. And I think Overflow does like modding of like, you know, tekken stuff. So it'll be like, you know, modding the heat burst and stuff like that. And the stuff that he does is cool. It's cool. I have no issues with it. He said, does literally anybody else do that ish while playing professionally? ? It's funny for a moment, but it's also low-key disrespectful to the person you're going up against. Nothing about this game warrants that. All that. Imagine Neat or Arslan doing that. I know I'm gonna get roasted for this take because he's been doing it for years, but every time I see that, I'm like, damn, that's not cool. And obviously everyone's had their say in it. You know, Speed Kicks, he said, I've played it a lot in a lot of tournament matches in the last 14 years. With the exception of important losses, I've forgotten most of them. Never forgot a match versus Pokchop though, because they were fun. Maybe not the people at home watching, but for the people at the event, it's fun. And, you know, Marginal Obama said, I'm begging you to have fun, man. You know? And then it's like, oh no, I just saw someone having fun on a video. I must tell everyone it's not fun for me. Crazy how people have feelings based on what they see. Welcome to Twitter. No, you know what? I'm trying to figure out, like, if I showed this to someone that didn't really, like, say, for example, if I showed, like, I don't know, like, my dad or my friends are not in fighting games, I don't know if they would see that as aggressive. They'll probably see, like, yeah, what's up with him? You know what I mean? But they don't understand. And it's fine. Maybe Overflow just doesn't understand. But I'm going to break down something to you. So the offline era, like the arcade era, this is what it was all about. Like, obviously, there's two different types of generations. You know, think of it as WWF and WWE. Like, WWF online, WWF Attitude Era, that's where all the trash talking and all that stuff was going on, right? And then now it's gone more PG and, you know, it's not as good as how it was before. The arcade scene, everyone, like, you know, wanted to be the best. That was it. You know, you go there, you put your pound down, you play, you want to dominate on the machine. And then it comes with trash talk. Like, before I even, you know, entered the offline scene, I was trash talking. You know, I would go and play games around my friend's house and we'll put a pound down. We'll trash talk. We'll play for even, you know, the person that has to pay for KFC. Like, say, for example, if I was playing like a player, like Luna is one of the guys that was hosting this. Shout out to Luna. Luna's old school. And he was playing Alyssa at the time. And we used to play one place in South London where we all used to get round and play. And, you know, not everyone was fortunate back then. So we would do stuff like little mini things like, oh, we'll play for like, I don't know, a KFC meal, or we'll play for something, you know what I mean? £5 or £10 or something. It was never ever that big, right? And then, yeah, we'd be trash talking. And that's where the whole, you know, Tag 2 era or Tag 2 King J came from. You know, when I've entered into, you know, playing Tekken competitively, I was quite a bit of a trash talker. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, if you remember like the bin bag matches and stuff like that, that, you know, that's my era. And I feel like people nowadays, well, I'll be honest, where back then, not a lot of people was fond of me because of the fact that I was trash talking. And it wasn't really seen like that. There was a few people that kind of got it and understood, you know, but then there's a lot of people that didn't really understand it. And they kind of thought it was aggressive. Again, with me, I never cuss. I never say anything personal. Keep it strictly in game. And it's just literally to kind of like, it will just amp you up. You just start talking smack and it just amps you up. That's just all that it does, you know? And it's fun to watch. Like, when I watch Pokchop do it offline, it is so fun to watch because he's talking smack and it's just making you laugh. Like, he's just making noises when he's putting you up in the air and he's comboing you. He doesn't do anything harmful to anyone. You know, me and him had our, you know, rivalry and stuff like that in, like, you know, Tekken 7. You know, around the time when I went to go to Evo, we done like a money match. I done Gigas versus Josie and I won against him, and you know, all the Americans around and we're trash talking each other and it's fun, you know, like there's nothing harmful. Obviously I feel like Tag 2 King J left because, again, like a lot of people don't really understand how the trash talking works, and I feel like a large part of me is left. So I definitely have started to bring it back as of recent because I'm just like, well, no, this is how I've always been. I always like to trash talk, and you know, like if I lose, I will say GG's. It's not a big deal unless you're just playing scummy or something like that. Then nah, I probably won't say GG. But yeah, this is just, it's harmful play. Like he's not doing anything to hurt anyone. And again, like a lot of people have said their parts about it. You know, a lot of people. Again, Joe Budden came into the scene, and you know, you remember the time when he had the tissue and he said ultra soft. Like, is the FGC getting soft? Like, can't people just trash talk? And you know, doesn't it make it more entertaining? Like, I feel like most people watch like wrestling and stuff for the entertainment, the you know, the storylines and the trash talking and all that stuff. Like the trash talking's sick, and that's where it comes from, man. You know, yeah, I don't know what to say. I probably will be like cautious of, like, you know, maybe not throwing toilet roll by, you know, the commentator desk. Maybe that might be a bit much. But I like personalities like Joe Budden. Like, I think he's quite funny. I like Pokchop. I think he's hilarious. And I would honestly say there's no, you know, in the UK, they like to say when you give someone compliments or over compliment someone, they'll say glaze. But I don't see this as glazing. I would say Pokchop is a legend. Like, his persona and what he does is so unique. There is not anyone that's like him. You know, he entertains. He's mad funny. And then if you speak to him like aside and stuff like that, you know, you have a conversation with you. Like, it's not like what you think it is, Overflow. But again, I'm not here to like flame him or flame Overflow because maybe he just doesn't understand it. But yeah, this is just how it is. You know, if you come from that era, so I come from the old school era. So trash talking is just, that's natural. Used to go to the arcades. I used to see, you know, the you know, players that were like old school, you know, Cobra Commander, Starscream. These players will talk, you know, trash talk and stuff. And, you know, it's funny. I remember, I don't know if Starscream knows this, but I remember Starscream saying something where he was like, oh, like he will beat anyone in the UK with their character or something like that, something along the lines. Maybe someone can remind me what he said. And that was actually funny because I'm thinking, right, this guy has mad confidence. And, you know, he was actually really good at the game. This is the type of levels of trash talking. Now, like, you know, trash talking, I don't know how it is in America because it does seem like it's kind of quieting down. But, you know, people don't really money match as much anymore. In the UK, I don't know anyone that really money matches. I don't even know if people even trash talk. And I feel like everyone gets sensitive towards it. Or most people. Let me not say everyone, because some people can handle it. So I'm not going to say everyone. I feel like that's wrong for me to do that. So I'll take accountability and take that back. But I think most people do get a bit like emotional with it. So yeah, people shouldn't get emotional. It's trash talking. You know, if you call someone trash, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I said enough. I feel like we just need to move past this. I don't think people should be like, you know, trashing on Overflow. I just feel like it's a misunderstanding. I feel like he just doesn't understand how the offline community is. And again, this is from a long time ago. Remember, there wasn't no Twitter, and maybe there was Twitter and I wasn't on it at the time. I remember Neo Empire and, you know, Tekken Zaibatsu and Shoryuken. These were ways how people were communicating with each other. It wasn't Twitter. I feel like Twitter is like, it's either what they said is good or, you know, people just dogpile, and I just don't think it's that. It's not too late to delete the tweet though. Like, yeah, I know you're trying to stand on business, but yeah, Pokchop is not that guy. Like he's literally, people know who he is. You know, he's not that guy. So anyways, that's my thoughts on the topic. I hope you lot Let me know if you think FGC is getting, you know, soft and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll be moving on to the next video. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.